People, DG, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning in and things like that. Arsenal, we know we need a centre half. It's going to be a tricky one between identifying targets between now and the end of the season, but I'm sure the men in charge have done it. But in regards to what I've seen, two players I've been looking at, and I looked at them in the Champions League this week. They ironically played each other in Porto versus Galatasaray. Ozan Kabak, I can't say his name correctly, and Diogo Leite, I think his name is Leite, I can't say his name correctly, Porto Don, Portuguese international. Now let's start with the youth international, 19-year-old Leite. Again, butchered his name, forgive me. I've seen him play before, like if you watched Arsenal's under-23s play in the, sorry people for that low battery, in the, what was it, the International Cup or something hosted by the Premier League, you saw obviously him play against Arsenal's under-23s, so we've had a first-line look at him. You're always seeing his name linked with Arsenal and Liverpool. Not sure if he signed a new deal, but there was talks of a £15 million release clause. So these are making it more attractive, especially Liverpool ain't got this issue anymore, but we're trying to save money and cut corners and cost cut essentially. So this should be someone we look at essentially. What I've seen of him, he's not the biggest, but he's of a I don't like to talk about height because I say he's not the biggest, but he's not exactly small. I do think he doesn't exactly have that much pace, but his positioning is good. By the same, what I mean by his positioning is that he can smell danger. If a centre half is faster than him, he'll drop off. Or if he can see something developing, he will drop off, or he'll engage with his man. Where he can improve is just being smart. Like one of the, I haven't got it to hand, but I think it was either 3-2 or 4-3 to someone in that game. There was a whole host of goals, and it was a good game. I wouldn't say he's at fault for two of the goals, but there was two goals he at least could have done better with. First of all, Alex Telles failed to stop the cross, I think a Galatasaray cross, and Light's positioning is all wrong, because if he was positioned a bit better, he could have been in a position to stop the whole goal. It's not just him, everyone's positioning was wrong. And then there was definitely a goal where he went down for a foul, and then you could see it weren't really a foul. You could see that the other team are having an effort on goal and danger's developing, and he's rolling around on the floor, and they took that and scored. This isn't academy football. You play to the whistle and you get up. So he's incredibly naive defensively, but he's someone that stays stuck to his task. He's a decent ball player with either foot as well. I believe he's left-footed based on that game in which I saw of him, and based on the Emirates. Forgive me if I'm wrong. In that case, he's comfortable passing the ball with both feet. So yeah, off the ball is a worry for me. He's still clearly inexperienced. He's only 19 years of age, but he's someone we could possibly look at if we're trying to sign a centre-half in January. He'd obviously be cup-tied for Europa League as well. Wait, would he be able to play? He would be able to play in the Europa League, I'm sure. No, it's a bump, because you can play in the Champs, but you can't play in the Europa, so it'll be wrong in that regard. So that's him. 18-year-old Ozan Kabak, he actually has played at Youth Euro International tournaments as well, and I've seen him, but I'm not going to lie, people, when I saw him, it's not that he played amazing or bad, I didn't take him in like that, people. Maybe it's because Turkey didn't have the best of tournaments in general and stuff like that, because I was busy pre-ing all the other sides, but I didn't take him in like that. But he was highly rated going into the tournament, he's highly rated coming out of it, and based on what I've seen, he looks like a promising Turkish international. Turkey have quite a few of them coming up and popping about now, and stuff like that. And if I'm Turkey, you got some good homegrown ones, probably about convincing the Turkish internationals of German descent, or people that are of Turkish ancestry of that are playing for Holland and Germany. The next step is probably similar to what Nigeria do, get in their ear, get them to convert and look to Turkey first, sort of thing. But Ozan is a player I got a lot of time for, man. Based on the game I saw it's you wouldn't think he's 18. Not that he's playing amazing. You'd think he's at least 20, 21, maybe 22. You still think he's inexperienced, but definitely more experienced than he is. I think he's a very strong lad. I think he's confident with the ball at his feet. I think he doesn't look out of place. He's very mature. He defends on the front foot. He's composed. I like him as a defender. He's only 18. There's a lot of promising things about him. Probably the biggest issue that he would need to improve is that it's easy to get past him. It's not easy to get past him if you're standing him up with a football. What I mean by that is if you get the sides of him. So many defenders are good when it's engaging, being direct. It's when you have to turn. You have to look over your shoulder. If you have to turn and sprint, is that he has issues with, and he is quite slow in that regard. He was getting a bit too easily in that regards for me, and he was pulled out of position for one of the Porto goals as well. So These are not criticisms really, because these are what you expect of someone at this age. As you can see with a lot of my vids, I say the similar things. I'm checking for similar things. Football doesn't change. Like a centre half, obviously you want centre halves with different characteristics, but he's still got to be able to defend. His positioning still needs to be good. Does he shuffle across to help his right back? Does he shuffle across to help his centre half? Does he engage and tell his other centre half to stay put? Does he shepherd the line well? Whether it's dropping deep, whether it's going high, whatever the manager wants to implement. There's a lot of things that you just need to look for. And they're both, Leite and Ozan Kabak are both lacking in experience. But if we're really trying to get someone in January and stuff like that, I don't know if these are true because all the reports are changing. But Kabak's got a £7.5 million release clause allegedly. And I've already said how Leite's got 15. So if these things are true and they haven't signed new deals, which I'm pretty sure they haven't, isn't, we should be at least considering that. Which I no doubt that a lot of clubs have ran the rule over him. If it, admittedly, I think he'll be best served staying in Turkey, staying there, playing games, and eventually moving to a bigger club, a bigger league and things. As for potential, just how far both go depends on them. But I like them both. I'm not here to say they're going to be world class. I just feel they should be assessed in regards to, definitely in reports that you're seeing Cahill and all of these other players being brought in and all these centre halves being linked. The club's probably looked at them already. Liverpool have looked at Leite, for example, and just about any young player in any country that's played any game is being watched by everybody. So it is what it is in that department. So nothing new under the sun, I guess. On that note, people, DG, thank you for watching and rocking with me. It means the world. I'm out.